ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2025 State of the City Address. This is a 5-minute warning. A 5-minute warning. Please take your seats if you can. Also, there's available overflow seating upstairs on the second floor. afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2025 State of the City Address. Please rise if you're able for the presentation of our colors from the Salt Lake City Fire and Police Departments, followed by a land acknowledgement by Craig Sandoval, Division Director of Administrative Services at Urban Indian Center of Salt Lake, followed by our national anthem performed by Laviana Nanu.
Welcome, relatives and honored guests. My name is Craig Sandoval. Yat in Hidashnidolil. She Craig Sandoval yin shia. Trochanin shlona kaidna bashchin. Tlash das a chedo kia ani dashnella. What a iten shla. Before we begin, I would like to take a moment to recognize and honor the land on which we gather. We stand on the sacred homelands of indigenous peoples who have cared for this place since time immemorial. This valley, known to many as a place of gathering, exchange, and connection, carries the histories, prayers, and legacies of the Shoshone, Paiute, Goshutes, and the Ute tribe. This land, named for the Ute people, is not just a location, it's a living entity imbued with spirit and story. For thousands of years, this valley served as a vibrant crossroads where indigenous nations came together to trade, share knowledge, and celebrate culture through ceremonies and traditions. Its mountains, rivers, and plains provide not only sustenance, but also a deep sense of connection to the sacred. In time, new communities arrived and began to call this land home. While this brought change that disrupted the lives of indigenous peoples, their endured strength, wisdom, and resilience have allowed their cultures, language, and traditions to thrive. Today, the original caretakers of this land remain central to its identity, continuing to teach us the importance of respect, reciprocity, and stewardship. We honor the original stewards of this land and acknowledge the 8 federally recognized tribes in the state of Utah. The Confederate tribes of the Goshute Reservation, the Great Navajo Nation, the Northern Ute Tribe, Ute Indian Tribe of Uinta and Ouray Reservation, Northwestern Band of Shoshone Nations, Paiute Indian Tribe of Utah, and the San Juan Southern Paiute Tribe, Skull Valley Band of Goshutes, White Mesa Band of Ute Mountain Tribe. We also honor the 60,000 Native relatives and understand that the number of relatives continue to increase who live in the region, whether in tribal communities or urban spaces, and whose contributions strengthen and sustain us all. Let this acknowledgement serve as more than words. May it remind us of our shared responsibilities to the land, to one another, and to the relationship that connect us all. Thank you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You may be seated. And now, Mr. Ryan Schlegel.
Thank you very much. I gave the permitting guy a mic. This is trouble. Thank you all for being here. My name is Ryan Schlegel. By day, I work for the city of Salt Lake, but by night, approximately 50 loyal subscribers, more if you round up, might know me as the host of the mildly popular YouTube show, Polyester Blend Live. Airs Mondays from 9 to 11. Polyester Blend is all about life, with a special focus on Utah. Broadcasting from Rose Park, my home, to an imaginary transmitter out in the West Desert. We tackle the hard-hitting issues, like raking Hot Pocket flavors, reviewing rejected Utah state flag submissions, some of you I know submitted, debating Twister the movie versus Twister the game, an age-old question, discussing Chunk the Skunk, a local skunk who visits my yard during the show, happened last night, and listening to music from all different times and around the planet. Oh, when we cover essential topics like the cinematic classic Relic, 1996, recommend it. Important stuff for the city of Salt Lake and our community, and really the future of civilization as we know it. But enough about my media empire. We're here to talk about what I do for my day job. I'm the special event permit manager for the city of Salt Lake, which means if you've ever thrown a huge party, organized a festival, some here today, put on a protest, hosted a block party, or really done anything on city property, I've either approved it or gently denied it. At least I've always done it with what I hope the best customer service possible. I know forms and requirements can be a lot, but every step is vital to ensuring that events are safe and successful and legal in our community. Let me give you a snapshot of what we accomplished in 2024. 215 special events, 37 demonstrations and spontaneous activities, 63 film permits, 34 block parties, 20 noise waivers, I know Jill's favorite. In total, we processed 617 applications last year for events hosted by outside groups. This isn't what the city puts on. These are outside groups using city property to activate our wonderful city. It's incredible to see what's going on in our city, and it's gone up over the last 10 years I've been here. Now, growing up in Utah, I never dreamed about working on permits. I didn't sit around thinking, someday I'll get to approve block parties. But I will say, and this is for the children at home, if you're dreaming of issuing permits one day, I'm living proof that dream can come true. I didn't even know permits existed, to be honest, until when I started with the city. But once I did join, I realized that behind every permit is a dedicated city employee, working to make Salt Lake City more efficient, vibrant, and safe. It's easy to think of permits as bureaucracy, well, because they are. But every requirement serves a purpose to ensure that our city works for you. And every city employee you interact with is here to help you, I can guarantee it. We're all part of the same team. Civil servants are the backbone of a functioning city, and we care deeply about the community we serve. And more than anything, we value your input. Your voice shapes how these processes work. Use it. So when you engage with the city government, know there's a human being on the other side, a person who cares, who is trying very hard to make our city work. Now, on to something a little bit more fun. One of my favorite parts of this job is the new and exciting events that come through. For instance, next month, for the second year in a row on West Temple, we will be hosting the Skijoring event coming downtown. Now, who went to that last year? A couple people went to this? Yeah, look, you loved it, right? You got horsies, you got people flipping and doing crazy stuff, you got snow. It's perfect for Salt Lake. Now, can I answer if it's a future Olympic sport? I cannot. But what I can answer is, what do they do with all the stuff the horses leave behind? Don't worry about it. Our team takes care of that, so you never have to worry about it, and you can just have a great time downtown, the way the system's designed to work. Now, if you want to go to it, this event is Saturday, February 8th from 1 to 4. And a shout out to Visit Salt Lake for bringing this a wonderful event to our downtown. You didn't know you wanted it, but trust me, you'll love it, the Skijoring thing. Of course, exciting events in our city wouldn't be possible without the support of Mayor Erin Mendenhall. Under her leadership, we've seen signature events bring energy and excitement to our city while ensuring that they follow all permitting and safety guidelines. But the mayor's vision goes beyond events. She's fighting for affordable housing, better public transit, green spaces, sustainability, and everything that improves life for Salt Lakers. If it makes the city better, she's not just supporting it, she's championing it. And so, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce the person making all of this possible, the mayor of Salt Lake City, Erin Mendenhall, everybody.
Good evening. It is wonderful to see you all here tonight. Serving as your mayor for the past 5 years has been a great honor of my life. And there is no one I'd rather share this journey with than all of you. Thank you, Ryan and Craig and Laviana. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Thank you to the Salt Lake City Council members who are here tonight. Thank you to state leaders, including Wade Niederhauser, Salt Lake County District Attorney Sim Gill. Thank you for being here. All other elected officials. Thank you to members of our Salt Lake City, Utah 2034 Olympic and Paralympic bid and soon-to-be organizing committee. Thank you to Amy Redford of the Sundance Institute. And thank you to my amazing city team. Thank you to my own family and other esteemed guests. Thank you all for being here tonight. And thanks to our hosts of the beautiful downtown library. And to everyone who's tuning in tonight online. Hi, Mom. Good to see you all. This has been a landmark year for Salt Lakers. Since I last reported on the state of the city, we have celebrated the return of the Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games, a brand new hockey team, and a new Trader Joe's. I know you are excited about all three, probably equally. Tonight, we're gathered in an incredible place of belonging. It's a crossroads of community connection, a forum where knowledge knows no bounds, a place with nearly 1 million books in this collection. And yet, 25 years ago, this city library building, as we know it, did not exist. The ground had yet to be broken, and these soaring glass walls were only blueprints of what could be. And 100 years before that, the library was little more than a few thousand books on the top floor of our city and county building. 25 years ago, our city was gearing up for its first ever Winter Games, but not our last. And in exactly 9 years and 13 days, we will light the fire once again to show the world what we have become. And our city will be ready, not just for the athletes and the spectators or the cameras, but for the future that comes with it. Because here in Salt Lake City, ideas don't sit still, they move. We act. Here in Salt Lake City, we are doers. So tonight, my focus is not on the Salt Lake City of 25 years ago, nor the city 9 years from now. My focus is on Salt Lake City's present. Because the Salt Lakers of today need and deserve a city that dares to take action on the challenges that we're facing right now. Right now, we face a reality where some of our neighbors have no roof over their heads. We must address homelessness with both compassion and urgency, ensuring every individual who calls Salt Lake City home, no matter their circumstances, has a path to stability. Right now, the very people who make Salt Lake City what it is, workers and families, elders, students, are being priced out by the rising cost of living. Affordable housing is a necessity that must be constantly prioritized. And right now, many in our community feel fearful about what lies ahead. And when the world is unpredictable, Salt Lake City must remain a place of stability. Our core values include a deep belief in the dignity of every individual and value in our diversity. This will never change. And our strength as a community lies in finding our mutual connections. We have always been a city that leads with compassion, and that will not change. We will continue to serve every resident with respect and bring our creativity to solve the challenges that our communities are facing. We will stand by our values, and no matter the instability around us, we will keep moving forward together, just as we have through so many incredible challenges before. That commitment to stability, to respect, to moving forward together guides everything that we do as a city. It means keeping our attention not just on the major milestones ahead, but the acute realities that shape Salt Lakers' lives. I know the 2034 Winter Games and the Sports, Entertainment, Culture, and Convention District received a lot of our attention last year. But tonight, I want to reassure you that the day-to-day issues that affect our residents are our prime focus. Make no mistake, the future of Salt Lake City is bright, but its present is urgent. We continue the work that we started with resolve and with clarity, because the Salt Lake City of tomorrow depends on the decisions that we make today. We are driven by purpose to serve our residents at the closest level, no matter the tone of the voices in Washington, no matter the topic du jour on Capitol Hill here in Utah. We are undeterred. The state of this city is focused. We are focused on turning vision into action. As we look to the year ahead, it's clear that public safety remains one of our most urgent areas of focus. The safety of our residents is non-negotiable. Ensuring the security and well-being of all Salt Lakers is central to every aspect of our work. When Governor Cox, Senate President Adams, and House Speaker Schultz invited us to create a strategic public safety plan to address these pressing concerns, we did not hesitate. We delivered. You may have seen parts of this plan. You may have even read all 50 pages. I hope so. I want you to hear this directly from me, though. This public safety plan is what staying at the table looks like. This plan is what collaboration looks like. The plan also recognizes a hard truth. 47% of the Salt Lake City Police Department's jail bookings over the past year involved individuals who self-reported as being unhoused. The intersection of homelessness and criminality demands nuance, not oversimplification. Too often, the two are conflated, and in doing so, we only deepen the divide and we fail to address the real issues at hand. We in Salt Lake City are fed up with a system today that neither stymies the flow of drugs into our city nor remedies the needs of those on our street with complex mental health, substance use, and misdemeanor criminal patterns that result from so many unmet needs. A reporter who regularly covers the city observed on social media just last week that the Salt Lake City police are either making more arrests or sending out more press releases about arrests. And I'm here to tell you tonight, it's both. We will no longer tolerate a system that is broken and perpetuates harm upon our community. We will arrest those who are breaking the law. We will hold ourselves accountable for our parts of the system. And we will be upfront about the systemic gaps that fail to hold people accountable and provide the assistance to stability that they need. Since the launch of our public safety plan just 12 days ago, the Salt Lake City Police Department has already conducted 2 undercover operations leading to 7 arrests, the seizure of thousands of fentanyl pills, stolen guns, and $1.5 million in concentrated THC. I want to thank our hardworking police officers and our police leadership for their diligence in the development of the plan and the execution of it, and their hard work every single day to protect this city. Addressing the needs of those living on our streets requires empathy, precision, and a relentless focus on solutions that prioritize their humanity while ensuring the safety and well-being of the entire community. Our public safety plan underscores the critical need to address homelessness not solely as a criminal matter, but as a humanitarian crisis. Emergency shelters are overburdened, while treatment facilities, mental health services, and transitional housing are all stretched so thin. These gaps, every gap in the entire system, leads back to our streets. These shortages disrupt lives, they weaken communities, and they limit the ability of our systems to deliver safety and stability. When I took office 5 years ago, Salt Lake City stood alone on this issue. We opened that first emergency winter overflow shelter in Sugar House because the homeless resource centers in Salt Lake County were at capacity, and we asked partners to help us. I am grateful that we've gone from working in isolation to readiness and collaboration. Today, we have faced the audacious opportunity state leaders gave us with sure partners by our side. We're taking ownership of our part in the broken systems we've inherited, and we're building something that works. Staying at the table means seeing these challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to map out a better route forward that all can follow because it benefits all. We will stay in this fight, persistent and unwavering. Along with our partners at the state and Salt Lake County, we will create a path forward that respects every individual's dignity, strengthens the safety of our city, and fosters a more just and compassionate future for all. Part of building a stronger Salt Lake City is ensuring that every resident has access to safe and attainable housing. Safety and opportunity are impossible without a place to call home. For many in need on our streets today, that path forward looks like the Other Side Village. I was thrilled to welcome the first formerly unhoused Salt Lakers into beautiful tiny homes that allow these residents the stability to maintain employment and hope. Every village resident has been unsheltered for an average of 9 years. But now, they're accessing the tools they need to rebuild their lives: a roof over their heads, health services, employment opportunities, and importantly, being a part of a stable community focused on each other's well-being. And over the next year, Salt Lake City will help the village expedite the creation of at least 200 more homes. Yes, I'll applaud for that. Salt Lake City faces a shortage of more than 18,000 affordable housing units. Our population has grown rapidly, but affordable housing has not kept pace. More than half of our residents are renters, and nearly half of them are cost-burdened. Families with children, especially low-income families, are finding it harder than ever to secure affordable homes that have enough space to meet their needs. I'm proud to say that since the beginning of my administration in 2020, we've seen the completion or now funding of 524 deeply affordable housing units, 684 family-sized affordable units, 119 for sale or shared equity affordable units. In total, Salt Lake City has built or funded 6,567 affordable units since 2020. These units received over $122 million of city funding, and to me, that is money well spent. By this time next year, we will have doubled the number of units under affordability protections in this city compared to 10 years earlier. And there are 1,500 more units under construction as we speak. We are not stopping. In my upcoming budget proposal for fiscal year 2026, I will ask the City Council for an additional $5 million toward deeply affordable housing construction, housing for those who need it the most. And yet I know it still isn't enough. But I can promise we will not stop until we find a future where it finally is enough. A future where more families like the Tutows can live in a neighborhood that they love. Let me show you what that looks like.
My name is John Tutow. I'm originally from Los Angeles, and I was going back and forth between Los Angeles and Utah, commuting back and forth for work. But in 2017, I moved up here. You know, between Los Angeles and Salt Lake was definitely more affordable. I met my wife up here and established our family up here and wanted to be closer to them. Finding something that was affordable in Salt Lake was challenging, and not only finding something affordable, but something in a decent condition for the size of our family. For us, living in a place that's affordable housing allows us to not only save for our eventual permanent home, be able to do the things that our family enjoys doing, and also help other family members. My wife is a caretaker for her parents, and so by living in a place that is affordable for us, we're able to have those resources to be able to help others in our family and in our communities. I mean, for this complex itself, you have families that are in housing programs, and you have families that are just within the income limit. At least for our experience, our unit, we definitely feel like it's a home for us. Even though we're renting, we know that it could be temporary, and hopefully that we're able to eventually get a place of our own, and that's the long-term goal. But for now, I feel like it's a great experience for us, at least at this point, to be able to have such a nice home in the meantime. It's not just a roof over our head, that when we come into our apartment, we have that sense of like, well, we're home.
Thanks, John, for doing that with us. Our housing affordability efforts over the past 5 years made this possible, not just for John's family, but for hundreds more like them. And we are far from finished. Tonight, I'm proud to introduce a new tool that ensures we stay accountable to our promises of affordable housing. The residents of Salt Lake City deserve a way to track our progress and help us continue building. This is our brand new affordable housing construction and preservation dashboard. It provides a transparent view of the city's affordable housing progress by tracking units under construction, completed projects, and the funds that we've committed to closing those housing gaps. This tool empowers everyone in our community to stay informed and engaged in these shared efforts. Every unit we build, every dollar that we invest, and every policy we implement moves us closer to a future where affordability isn't out of reach. Again, a future defined by the decisions we make today. I can't talk about the future without talking about families, our children and our grandchildren, the generations to whom we will pass this city. As the old saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child, but you know what it takes to raise a family? It takes a safe community to live in. It takes outdoor spaces to play in. It takes after school and summer childcare programs to learn in. Families are central to our decision-making in this city. As I said last year, if we don't intentionally build this city for families, they will be pushed out. And that is not a future I accept. That's why we've dug deep to listen to families and residents in the ballpark neighborhood since the Bees announced their departure. It might actually be the first time I've heard a government being accused of asking too many questions of the residents. But their feedback led us to a decision for the future of the Smiths Ballpark site that I know neighbors overwhelmingly approve of. So I'm going to ask you to just temporarily hold on doing the wave, because I am excited to announce tonight that Salt Lake City is moving forward with the partial adaptive reuse option. Design Scenario 2, as the neighborhood affectionately knows it, will simultaneously create something new while honoring our history. Picture this: the western wing of the ballpark repurposed to house an entertainment venue, creative spaces, and retail. The adjacent ball field transformed into a mixed-use urban space and a safe community park where kids can play under the trees while their parents listen to a concert or stroll through a pop-up event. A festival street outside, alive with music and markets, and green spaces hosting everything from quiet mornings to neighborhood celebrations and local businesses. Housing, community gathering spaces, and human-centered investments to create a new pulse in the heart of this great neighborhood. The ballpark will be a place where families grow, where businesses thrive, and where the community's pulse beats strong, drawing us all back to one of the most historic neighborhoods in Salt Lake City. So stay tuned as we will present a more detailed version of the design this spring. Across our city, we're investing in the places that bring people together. Our parks are where we celebrate, play, we connect with each other, and we find solace in nature. And yet, for too long, access to these spaces has not been shared equally across our city. But that is changing. We are making tangible progress in correcting these imbalances. At the start of 2024, every city pickleball court was on the east side. By the end of 2025, the west side will have twice as many courts as the east, bringing recreation closer to more families in our city. Acres of more park space for the west side will open this summer when the first phase of Glendale Regional Park is finally complete. It's the largest park project that we've taken on in decades, and we're grateful for your input and your patience on it. As part of our new public safety plan, we're developing an integrated park camera security program at our high-volume parks this year. We're also adding security services at parks at closing hours to make sure that people comply with park curfews. In addition, we plan to expand our rapid intervention team so the city responds more quickly to your reports of trash or camping or other livability issues that you can make on our My SLC app. So if you don't have this app yet, please download it. You've asked us to do better, and we will, because public spaces aren't just about infrastructure. They're about community, and they need to be safe and clean and welcoming to all. Nowhere is that more clear than right here in the 15th most popular library in the world. This space reimagines the role of a library in a downtown setting, and that means doing things a little differently. This library has an entire creative lab full of equipment that is free to use, allowing patrons to explore digital media, photography, and even 3D modeling projects. It has a teen lounge with its own curated collections and technology access. This library has an artist co-op. It has a hair salon. It has passport services. It even has a flower shop. And in fact, all of our flowers tonight were created by them. By the end of this spring, this library will have a renovated rooftop terrace that I hope our guests this evening had a chance to preview. Doing things differently is an opportunity. Just like how the main library reimagined its role in this downtown setting, we are reimagining downtown for families and visitors. The Green Loop takes our car-centric wide streets and instead centers people and families by expanding downtown green space. After a bit of work and preparation, and with much thanks to the Salt Lake City Council, just last week, construction design funding for the first phase of the Green Loop was approved. This year, we are embarking on an exciting new piece of this concept. We will develop a full design for the civic campus portion of the Green Loop, just outside these doors behind me from Library Square across to Washington Square Park, integrating people-first design with green space and trees, lanes for walking and biking, and yes, even some cars, and new recreation opportunities. In my upcoming budget proposal, I will ask the Salt Lake City Council for $3 million towards constructing our civic campus. And then we're going to kick off a capital campaign to leverage those dollars with private sector support. So, to our philanthropic partners who might be listening, you will be hearing from me very soon. Our city's favorite events already call this space home. A civic campus will benefit Salt Lakers year-round, improving the festivals that we know and love while adding new daily front yard experience for our downtown community. A community that has doubled in population to 20,000 since 2020. And by 2030, we will add 7,000 more residents to the downtown community. Downtown is the beating heart of Salt Lake City and our state. 12 months ago, some doubted if the Utah Jazz would still be playing downtown. And the National Hockey League coming to Salt Lake City was just a fever dream. Last January, I stood before you and committed to keeping the Jazz downtown. 3 months later, we welcomed another professional sports franchise, the Utah Hockey Club, to Delta Center and to Salt Lake City. And by the end of last year, the partnership agreement we executed with SEG means we have done our part to keep both teams right here where they belong for the next 30 years. With the creation of the Sports, Entertainment, Culture, and Convention District, the future of downtown is being reimagined. It will continue to be the economic center of our state and the center of culture, faith, entertainment, transportation, finance, and community in the Mountain West. I want you to know that the city fought tooth and nail during the process to ensure we got every public benefit we possibly could out of the revitalization. We fought for Japantown. We fought for affordable, family-sized housing. We fought for the arts. We fought for a seat at the table. And trust me when I say, we're doing a lot more than just keeping that seat warm. We're getting results. Because my job is to get the best damn deal for our city. It always has been. And when it comes to our commitments to residents, we deliver. And here's the truth about those accomplishments. Every success I've shared tonight is thanks to the nearly 4,000 amazing Salt Lake City employees who show up every day with the same commitment I do. They are the public servants leading our housing and sustainability efforts, ensuring public safety, and rebuilding our roads. They are the boots on the ground, making all of this possible. And as much as I wish I could recognize each of them by name tonight, I think that might take up a little too much of your time. So please let me start by highlighting 4 incredible Salt Lake City employees.
Salt Lake City is a great place to live, and we want anybody who wants to be here to be able to live here. The Tenant Resource Center is a response to the ongoing housing crisis, where people are unable to find good, decent housing, and when they are put into a situation where they found it, there's so many things that can go wrong.
So in 2023, we started looking at 300 North, between 300 West and 1000 West, of how we can go about with getting all modes of transportation to better flow through there. Things change, plans change all the time, especially with like transportation. It once was a heavily car use, and now we're leaning more towards walking and biking.
Well, the landscaping equipment exchange program was designed to help improve Salt Lake City neighborhoods' air quality by trading oil gas landscaping equipment to get electric. This project is about more than landscaping equipment tools. It's about empowering community.
As Salt Lake City 911, this last year in 2024, we received and responded on over 300,000 emergency fire police calls. And the day that this fire came in, the Sandhurst fire, it initially just came in as a passerby seeing some smoke on the mountainside.
And we were able to remove from the airshed more than 5,000 barrels of pollution.
I fell in love with roadways because I was able to use my love for people to be able to keep them safe.
When everybody's working towards the same goal, it really allows for a community to form.
With a look or a glance, a word, I can get my team around me to make those phone calls for me, get those apparatuses going for me, get those cities notified for me.
I feel proud to be where I'm working and the people that I work with, and also a sense of accomplishment that we were able to get a bunch of projects done and completed.
And I'm so proud to be part of this team that prioritizes communities that historically hasn't been able to participate in this type of programs, helping them to improve the air quality surrounding them.
And there's a real good community here where I've really found it to be my home, and I love being able to work to make the city that I call home better, and I love doing that every day.
We care about you, and we, at that moment, you're our top priority, and we're gonna get through it together.
Could those employees, Rudy, Catherine, Salvador, and Lisa, please stand? I want to thank you for your service and your heart. Thank you. Our city employees are the reason I'm able to stand up here each year and talk about how amazing Salt Lake City is. Their efforts are how we keep this city running. And because the Utah House of Representatives passed a bill yesterday threatening their rights, allow me to say this. Over 60% of the Salt Lake City team is represented by a union. And while that bill, while that bill may strip collective bargaining rights of our public employee unions, it will not strip away my commitment to treating our workers fairly, to competitive compensation, or to equitable benefits. I have always been proud to stand with and for Salt Lake City's working families, and that has not changed. It will never change. Collective bargaining or not, we are a team, and we cannot do the work this city needs without our incredible employees. They make Salt Lake City the best place to travel, to work, to build a future. They are the reason that Salt Lake City has the #1 airport in North America, the nation's hottest job market, and a reputation as one of the best performing large cities in the nation. When it comes to commitments to residents, this team delivers. Last year I promised that we would launch a tenant resource center to assist the more than 50% of Salt Lakers who don't own their own homes. I promised that we would financially assist residents displaced due to demolition, redevelopment, or substantial renovations and help them relocate within the city. As Rudy explained in the video, our Tenant Resource Center, along with our Rental Assistance Fund for tenants, launched in October. I am pleased to report that every weekday since, our navigators have assisted renters, 320 just since it opened, in applying for funding, finding housing, and even reporting unsafe living conditions. Last year, I promised you that we would follow through on street reconstruction projects from the 2018 Funding Our Future bond, critical infrastructure projects that were passed over for decades and are finally being executed in a small window of time, thanks to engineers like Catherine. Today, we've completed nearly all of those projects, including key sections of 1st South, 2nd South, 3rd West, 9th South, 11th East, West Temple, Virginia, and many more. And we're in the middle of improving 3rd North, Pierpont Avenue, and of course 21st South, all of which will finish this year. These promises matter because they reflect the trust that you've placed in me to lead this city. Going through long periods of construction is so hard. It is painful, but our city will be more resilient when they're finished. And I'm grateful to our employees who have navigated these complex infrastructure projects and the dozens of small businesses that they've worked to assist along the way. Last year, we could not foresee how the Sandhurst fire would ignite 200 acres north of the Utah State Capitol building, coming within a half a mile of nearby homes and evacuating dozens of families. Our dispatch and emergency response team members, like Lisa, were instrumental in containing this fire and protecting neighborhoods. I'd be remiss not to thank our amazing Salt Lake City firefighters who just returned from California after helping other communities to protect their homes amid multiple devastating fires. They reflect the best of us. Thank you to the fire department. Like Lisa from our 911 dispatch team shared in the video we just watched, we care about you. We care about you as individuals. Every decision we make stems from that care for our city, for our residents, and for our workers. We care about the future our children will inherit, and so we doubled down on sustainability. We care about the air we breathe, so we launched Clean Air SLC, putting real tools in residents' hands. That included a brand new landscaping equipment exchange. The demand was overwhelming, and so we are bringing it back again this year. We also launched Salt Lake City's first ever e-bike incentive program, and boy, was it popular. We awarded more than 300 residents with e-bike vouchers, half going to low-income residents. Thanks to our partnership to put free UTA passes in the hands of students, parents, and their teachers, those Salt Lakers took over 593,000 trips on transit last school year. This is what real climate action looks like. It's not just about policy, it's about tangible change. Small actions multiplied across our entire city creating a lasting impact on the air that we breathe. This is grassroots advocacy. This is why I ran for office. And still, this is not all we're doing. In 2024, we supplied about 80% of the city government's municipal electricity from the brand new Electron solar project, cutting our emissions by 100,000 metric tons every year. We've also made our city more water-wise. Through proactive maintenance, our public utilities team brought water mainline breaks to their lowest level in 5 years. And despite a 12% increase in population since the year 2000, Salt Lake City has reduced water use by 36%. And we are not done. This year, I will present the City Council with the results of our electrified fleet study, laying the groundwork for even bigger reductions in our reliance on fossil fuels. We will achieve 100% renewable electricity citywide by 2030. Ambitious? Yes. Necessary? Absolutely. Salt Lake City is a city of doers, of change makers, of risk takers. We are innovators. In Salt Lake City, we know building is not enough. We know progress isn't passive. We turn vision into action, and then action into reality. We've created parks and public spaces, a thriving economy, a city of neighbors who lift each other up, not by standing still, but by stepping up. Salt Lake City moves because its people do. As my dear friend Ted Wilson once said, I'm hopeful that each and every citizen has a feeling of playing some role in Utah's future. That belief that each of us has a role to play defines this city, our city. The work we do today matters. We are focused because what we commit to now will shape the future for generations. And in Salt Lake City, we don't wait for change. We make it. Thank you all for being here tonight. Let's get to work together.